Mandy, answer me. Why is there an elderly couple I don't recognize living in the $1 million lakeside house I bought for you? My grandmother's voice sliced through the warmth of the Thanksgiving dinner like a blade. Laughter died instantly. Forks froze midair. A sharp clink echoed across the table as my father's knife slipped from his fingers and struck the plate. I stopped breathing. My hand hovered halfway to my mouth, pumpkin pie trembling on the fork. Slowly, painfully, I lifted my eyes. My grandmother, Dorothy Hanson, sat at the head of the table, her posture straight, her expression carved from stone. Her gaze moved past me, then settled with lethal precision on my sister Ashley, then on my parents. I had just returned from overseas after years away, and something about her felt different now. Harder, sharper, as if distance had burned away all softness and left only truth. "Grandma, what did you just say?" My voice shook. I could barely hear myself. She didn't blink. "Didn't you hear me, Mandy? I'm talking about the lakeside vacation house, the one I bought for you 3 years ago, for your future." The room tilted. A house? A vacation home? I swallowed hard, summoning every ounce of courage I had. "Grandma, there must be some mistake. I don't own any house, not a vacation home, not even an apartment. I was evicted last month. I've been sleeping on friends' couches." My grandmother's eyebrow twitched. "What?" she said softly, dangerously. "When I returned, I went to the house as a surprise," she continued. "You weren't there. Instead, an elderly couple answered the door. They said they were Kevin's parents, Ashley's in-laws." Her head turned slowly. "Ashley, would you care to explain?" I saw my sister's wine glass shaking violently in her hand. "Ashley," I whispered. Her breathing became erratic. "Grandma, that must be a misunderstanding. You probably got the address wrong. You just flew in. You must be exhausted." "That's right, Mom." My mother Sandra jumped in, sweat glistening on her forehead. "Jet lag can mix things up. Let's eat before the turkey gets cold." "Be quiet." My grandmother's voice slammed into the room like thunder. Everyone flinched. "My mind has not failed me yet," she said. "The address, the exterior, the lake. It was exactly the house I purchased." She reached into her handbag and slid a photograph across the table. "This," she said, "is what Kevin's parents showed me." The color drained from Ashley's face. In the photo stood a stunning lakeside mansion, and in front of it, smiling broadly, were Ashley, her husband Kevin, and his parents. The caption beneath it read, "Living in our daughter-in-law Ashley's beautiful home." I stared at the picture. It was the same house Ashley had posted on social media years ago. My new vacation home. Back when I was juggling 3 part-time jobs and skipping meals. That was my house. "What is going on?" I stood abruptly. "Mom, Dad, explain this. Grandma bought a house for me, so why was I homeless?" My father looked away. "Mandy, it's complicated. Today is Thanksgiving. Talking about money now isn't appropriate." "No," my grandmother said coldly. "We are settling this now." She turned to me. "Mandy, you truly don't know, do you? About the $1 million house. About what they did with it. $1 million. My bank balance that morning had been $12.50. "I know nothing," I said. "No one ever told me." Her gaze softened briefly, then hardened as she turned to my parents. "George, Sandra, you told me Mandy was mentally unstable, that she couldn't manage money, that you would act as guardians." "What?" My heart slammed. "When was I ever unstable? I graduated top of my class. I worked nonstop." "Mandy, calm down," my mother said sharply. "See? This is exactly what we meant." "Don't you dare," I shouted, my chair crashing behind me. "When I couldn't pay rent, you told me to be independent, and behind my back, you gave my house to Ashley?" "We did it for your own good," my father yelled. "You can't manage assets." "For your own good?" Ashley sneered. "Someone like you doesn't deserve a house like that. We were using it properly. You should thank us." "That's enough," my grandmother said. She stood, placed her hand on my shoulder, steady and warm. "You are right, Mandy. All of you are rotten." She pulled out her phone. "Come in, now." The front door opened. A man entered carrying a briefcase. "Mrs. Hanson," he said, "I brought everything." "What is this?" my father stammered. "I will now expose every fraudulent act you committed," my grandmother said. "One page at a time." I wiped my tears and straightened. Then I laughed. Slowly, deliberately, I stood. "That's enough acting, Grandma." She smiled. "Yes, I've been entertained." My family stared at us in shock. "A week ago," I said calmly, "Grandma contacted me through my aunt. She said her letters were being intercepted, so we planned tonight. My father tried to stand. Sit down, my grandmother said. Attorney Watson placed documents on the table. The property was bought in Mandy's name, he said. Transferred to Ashley for $1. $1, I whispered. Then came the emails, the forged signatures, the bank transfers, the stolen rent, the lies. Every truth spilled into the room like poison. Ashley collapsed, screaming. My parents begged. My grandmother watched with ice-cold eyes. The will has been revised, Attorney Watson announced. Mandy Hanson is the sole heir. No, my parents screamed. If you want forgiveness, my grandmother said, ask Mandy. I lifted my glass. No, I don't offer mercy. I offer consequences. The police arrived. Handcuffs clicked. As the sirens faded, I stood in silence. 1 year later, I stand on the deck of Lakeside Manor. It is mine. I am free, and my life has finally begun. The house was silent after the sirens disappeared into the night. Not the comfortable kind of silence, but the kind that presses against your ears, forcing you to feel everything you've been holding inside. The dining room looked exactly the same as it had an hour ago. Half-eaten food, candles still burning, wine glasses smeared with fingerprints, yet nothing about it belonged to the same reality anymore. I stood there, unmoving, my arms hanging loosely at my sides. For the first time in years, I didn't feel hungry. I didn't feel afraid. I didn't feel small. I felt empty. Then my grandmother took my hand. Come sit, she said gently. Her voice was no longer sharp, no longer commanding. It was the voice she used when I was a child and scraped my knees, when she braided my hair before school, when she told me I was capable of anything, as long as I stayed honest with myself. We sat across from each other at the massive table that suddenly felt absurdly large for just two people. You did well, she said. I let out a shaky breath. I didn't know if I could get through it without breaking. You were never weak, she replied. You were caged. I looked down at my hands. They were still trembling slightly. All those years, I thought something was wrong with me. Every rejection, every failure. I thought I just wasn't good enough. My grandmother's jaw tightened. They made sure you believed that. She reached into her bag again and pulled out a thick stack of envelopes, yellowed at the edges. My letters, she said. Every single one, unopened, hidden. I took one and traced my name written in her careful handwriting. I thought you stopped caring, I whispered. Never, she said firmly. Not for a single day. That night, I didn't sleep. We stayed up talking until dawn. She told me everything, how she'd trusted my parents, how she'd believed their stories, how guilt had eaten at her when I never replied, but distance and work had kept her away. I should have come sooner, she said quietly. You came when it mattered, I replied. The next morning, reality arrived with paperwork, phone calls, and an overwhelming sense of finality. The house I grew up in was seized. Accounts were frozen, assets were cataloged. The world my parents had built on stolen ground collapsed in less than 48 hours. I watched it all from a distance. Not with joy, not with revenge, with clarity. Ashley tried to contact me from detention. I refused. My mother left tearful messages through lawyers. I blocked them all. For the first time, I chose myself. When I finally visited Lakeside Manor alone, I cried. Not because it was beautiful, though it was. The water stretched endlessly, reflecting the sky like glass. Sunlight spilled through massive windows. The air smelled clean. I cried because I realized how much life I had lost, believing I deserved nothing. The furniture was gone. The rooms were empty. But something shifted inside me as I stood there barefoot on the wooden floor. This wasn't a trophy. It was restitution.